guys, Bobby Roast Beef, Jigs, and friggin' Biggs. Man, I hope you guys have been out there fishing because it's been a crazy week. It really has. I did manage to get on the water. I don't know. I'm not sure about if Joe got on the water or not, but things have been going kind of crazy all over the place for a lot of us here, and it is time to at least do some talking about it. I'll tell you what, the hotline phone has been ringing off the freaking hook this week. We got a bunch of calls, a bunch of FTG nominations, a bunch of live well questions for you guys. In fact, you guys kind of made Bobby Roast Beef do a little bit of homework this week and study up on some things that he's been slacking on. So I appreciate that. Keeping me on my toes. I like that. We have all kinds of good stuff to talk about this week. A little bit of an update regarding that situation with ABA that we talked about last week, and you guys are not going to want to miss it. We got such a good show lined up. No guest in the beef seat, so you got Joe and myself just kind of yammering with the jig heads. I hope you guys are ready. Grab something delicious to enjoy, and we'll get you all set and ready to go. More Jigs and Bigs coming up right after this. There we go, boys. I hope everybody's having a good one. Let's do a little drink check before we start out. Joe, what are you enjoying for a tasty beverage?
Dude, I'm not doing booze tonight. Just seltzer.
I'm not doing booze tonight either. I have sparkly water as well. I have.
There you go.
I have a Liquid Death. This is one of their. I think it's a new flavor. They call it Pina Colada. Like kill.
Okay.
And man, it is delicious. I'm a fan of the tropical flavors, and this hits on all the notes. I'm freaking loving it.
Pina colada is like one of my favorite flavors. So it's funny. I have right now I have like those fruit bars, like those like natural like frozen fruit bars.
Oh yeah.
And they don't have like a pina colada one, but I did buy coconut and I did buy pineapple.
You just kind of put them together and you're good to go. That's all you really need.
That's it.
You know,
I think the only Liquid Death I've had was it was root beer flavored. I wasn't a fan.
The soda ones, like when they try and emulate like a flavor of soda, I get what they're going for. I'll tell you what, for the flavors, like this one is probably one of the best that I've had. I'm a sucker for the one that's called Mango Chainsaw.
Okay.
It's so good. I've been drinking that now for a couple of years. And then the lime one is really good. Comes in the green can. It's really, really good. But it's like, I mean, Liquid Death is great just because like it's water in a can. The part of the reason why it's so nice is because it's in an aluminum can. So it gets cold really fast.
Sure.
You know, so you throw these in your cooler or something like that. And it's really, it's very, very convenient. Plus like, you know, it's better.
Dude, I thought the first couple of years they were out. Actually, hold on. Until Meg grabbed that case off like Amazon or whatever, the root beer ones, dude, the whole time I thought they were fucking energy drinks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No shit. I mean,
and I don't do energy drinks.
Yeah, me neither, man. I'm telling you, we have some people in our circle that are just like, Becca is an energy drink like fiend. My youngest is an energy drink fiend. Like, she's like, just as bad. She's like, gives reviews on different flavors. I'm like, that is liquid cocaine.
It's fun. My sister was too, dude. And she started to get fucking kidney stones. She stopped drinking fucking energy drinks, and now she don't get them no more.
You could tell me I could avoid kidney stones if I took like a hot poker and stabbed myself in the eyes, and I'd be looking for a hot poker. That nothing terrifies me more than kidney stones.
I've never, thank God, knock on wood, it's never happened to me.
Yep, 100%.
The few people I know that have, like, they literally would rather be dead. Like, they'd rather die.
Yeah, I definitely get that. Oh God, I can't believe that. Speaking of invasives or of invasive procedures, guess who had a consultation for his upcoming colonoscopy?
Oh,
yay!
Your first one ever?
Yeah, it is. I'm a little behind the ball on getting it done.
Oh, yeah. They're already talking to me about it.
I'm not concerned about the procedure. I do not love the idea of the prep.
No.
What is it? They call it Go Lightly, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
It's bad. Yeah. It's bad. It's bad. Zach chimes in with something about the energy drinks. He goes, replace your energy drinks with water for a month. I promise you'll feel better overall and have more consistent energy. Yeah, I drink I
I've
drink
heard
water
that.
like it's going out of style. I really do. Last pro tip, honestly, I found myself because I was trying to drink at least 3 liters of water every single day. And I'm like, yeah, just throughout the day, making it happen. And I would go out and I was spending a bunch. Like anytime I'd be out, I'd stop and I'd grab like a few bottles of water, and I'd keep my cooler in the back so it'd be nice and cold. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
I have some. We'll talk about that in a minute. I have some background on that.
okay, so I'm like, all right, so this is cool, whatever. I'm drinking all this water, and then I realized I'm like, how much I'm spending. Even like last summer, Cumberland Farms was doing like 2 for $3 or something, or 2 for $4 of the 1 liter bottles, and I was like, okay, cool. But then I was like, fuck it. Pro tip: do yourself a favor, get the bottled water for your house delivered with a cooler. It's
Ready refresh,
man. It is
same thing.
It is super cheap, but what's nice is that like ever since they changed the water main in our neighborhood, the water quality is not the same. We used to have great water, and now it's like it's kind of like plasticky, which is weird. You know what I mean?
Well, they swap all that fucking
all the lead.
Piping out, whatever it was, lead, whatever, or fuck, I can't think of it. But anyway, yeah, they changed it all. The fucking plastic.
So. It tastes odd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah,
galvanized.
Yes,
some of it's galvanized. Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, let's go ahead and do this. That was a pro move. I've and the whole family, like my wife was kind of like, it seems a little extra that you're getting like, 15 gallons of water delivered every month. But now she's like, I kind of love it. She's like, I also like having she's kind of an old lady. She'll have a cup of decaf at like 8 p.m. Right. Same thing with my daughters too. They'll have and they'll get the instant because they're like, we're not going to waste grinding beans for this crap. So they just make instant coffee, but they'll use the hot tap right out of the bottled water. They're like, it does make a difference. I brew my coffee with that now. It's just better,
Yeah.
We're not getting paid for any of this shit, by the way, guys. We're not. That's the thing. Here we are. We're talking about Liquid Death. We're talking about Ready Refresh, all kinds of energy drink, kidney stones, and colostrum. We're not making a dime off of this, but what we could
talk about butt stuff.
It's true. What we could be making a dime on is Jigs and Bigs merchandise. And you should go to jigsandbigs.com because Jigs and Bigs is a weekly podcast where we put together amazing fishing entertainment-based content just for you to enjoy at length and also engage with us. But if you want to support the show, there's a bunch of ways you can do that. Go to jigsandbigs.com. You can, number one, become a jighead. You've heard us mention Zach. You've heard us mention Eli. You're going to hear us mention Ryan Bogley in just a second. These are our jigheads here, folks, and there are followers over on Patreon that they pay a subscription, $5 a month, and all of that goes right back to support the show. Things like
StreamYard, which is just getting more and more expensive
in order to be able to pull this off. There's a lot of shit that's going on that that really helps us. If you're not able to check out the live streams when we record the show and get that exclusive content that way, no worries. You guys can just support by there's a link on jigsandbigs.com for buy me a coffee. You can go ahead and just buy the show a coffee and show a little bit of love that way. Plus, we've got merch available, all that kind of good stuff. And some high-value return stuff for you. We've got some deals with Dark Horse Tackle. We've got deals with other show partners. We've got deals with Arc Rods. You can save yourself 10% over at arcrods.com right now using promo code Jigs and Bigs. So we're trying to, help you guys out and add some more value to the show so that you guys get enough out of this. And a little birdie told me that, okay, it was me. It's not going to make sense unless I say it was me, but I have made the decision. I am doing a giveaway for my YouTube channel when we get to the 1,000 subscriber count, and we're just under 500 right now. So it's going to be a little bit of a push, and I'm not even going to announce what the prize is right away. I just want to get the buzz going. So if you're listening to this show, you haven't subscribed to the Jigs and Bigs YouTube channel, go and do so. Just go ahead and subscribe. You'll automatically be entered in there. And yes, any of our jig heads in here, I'm going to find a way to choose a name and give additional entries into the contest for the jig heads. It's the least I could do. Let's take a look. Let's get through these comments here because we got a couple of them. And I want to start actually. So I'm gonna should I drop this comment on screen and we talk about it first from Ryan, or do you want to give the background info first?
No, just go ahead and drop it on screen.
All right.
And then I'll give the background.
Perfect. So the butcher, Ryan the Butcher Bogley says, who the fuck tickets a Ranger owner for speeding?
So, Ryan calls me shit. It was over the weekend. It was a training week for me, so I worked all through the weekend, so I didn't get to fish, which sucks. But we'll talk about that later.
Mm-hmm.
But I get a call from Ryan. He's like, "Hey, man," he's like, "When did they start running radar on insert lake here, the one by my house, Bobby?" Apparently, the local PD brought their boat out and we're running radar on the lake of boats.
Really?
Yeah. So, yeah.
I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about
Ryan
that.
and I do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. I mean, that's right. It was Sunday when he told me. And, yeah, it was kind of, I've gone to that lake countless times every year and never seen it. So I don't know. Maybe there's someone new on the lake. Maybe, I mean, yeah, it's just, I don't know. Boats go fast sometimes. And that's the first time in and around this area I've heard of local police departments running radar on the lake. So, you hear about on big lakes and stuff, but this lake's the size of fucking a 5-gallon bucket. Like it's a small ass lake. So
I can't understand that at all. And I suppose there are a lot of folks that live on that lake and that recreate on that lake. And I'm sure this is a way to kind of enforce people from being douches with boats that really shouldn't necessarily be on there. But I'm like, that's one other nice thing about my rig is I don't have to worry about it. I can go full tilt, no ticket. That's what I should have named my boat.
No ticket.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's crazy. What I will say, and I'm sure Ryan's seen it as well.
Yep.
Yeah. So that lake. So obviously, the area I live in, kind of more of like a agricultural area, like a lot of redneck farm boy type deals, know, and a lot of them I've noticed in the last couple of years, younger kids get their hands on these old school speedboats, and they'll bring them out and they'll fucking just haul ass on them on that lake. I have noticed that, so maybe that has a little something to do with it. Could be. Not a ton of bass boats go there, man. Not a ton of bass boats go there. You got to kind of know it to. It's kind of one of those, they see the boat ramp and they're like, fuck that. I'm not dealing with that.
I could definitely see that being a deterrent. Like if you've got a 19 to 22 foot boat, you're like, it's kind of tough.
Yep. Yeah, and it's it's a pain in the ass for me. I mean, sometimes depending on the water level, because you were there. Yep. Bobby had to help me.
Oh yeah,
because the way the boat ramp slanted, sometimes the bass boats want to go up under the bumper instead of and it's I was getting my boat up, but the incline's so steep that I had to have Bobby come and hook up my winch while I was on the throttle because my boat just kept sliding back down.
I wasn't nervous at all about getting straight hull to the face.
Yep. So, but yeah, so that's what happened to Ryan. Ryan got I wasn't sure if he got. I didn't know he got a ticket. That blows.
What a disappointing lake to put a system like that on,
Yeah. And I don't know how the laws are and shit. I don't know. I don't know, but we'll see.
Fucking crazy, man. Crazy. I will tell you, my week for the most part has not been anything nuts. I finally did upload. So I recorded the final scene of that, the newest video that dropped this past Sunday. I recorded it last Monday before we recorded the podcast. And I got that uploaded on Tuesday, and I was like, I'm gonna do a Sunday drop. So I scheduled it, and totally forgot that I had done it. So like I didn't get any promo out for that until like today. But the video came out great, and that video is the look back on the May slot limit tournament. And I know Binya's got his coming up. He's already dropped a couple of shorts on YouTube and stuff. So it's pretty cool to see the content that people have created from those events. And the 21st of this month, the 21st of June, is the kickoff of the new slot limit tournament, which you can register for right now over at jigsandbigs.com. Go ahead, register, get yourself all connected and ready to play, and it's a good time. We had a really good time. I was talking with my buddy Paul about it when we were out fishing the other trip that I had taken this week, and it was fun. I think I may have him into the idea of trying one of these. Like I know
it was fun, man. It was fun.
It was a good time, you know.
It's funny because like Dan and I were talking after, and he had fun too. You know, he 2
weeks still slots.
I haven't heard the end of him telling me how he beat me by what was like fucking 10 inches or something stupid like that. But I haven't heard the end of it. He was actually I'll talk about it my week, Bobby. Go ahead. Yeah. Sorry, I'm all over the place today.
So we, I got that done. I worked every single night this week, and like I had some amazing trivia nights. We got to what was it? Saturday, I did an event for a local company, Waste Management, and it was just like a team building type corporate event, and it was a lot of fun. We had a really, really good time. It was one of these times where like, these folks did not want to be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But once I got into the first round, it was like, they were like, yeah, this is great. And they actually started to have a really good time. And afterwards,
that's good.
We all kind of like, we're hanging out as I was like cleaning up, and they were asking questions about where I do all this other stuff. And I think it's awesome. I think it's absolutely great.
Now, let me ask you this question. Does that happen? I don't think I've ever like asked you. Does that happen often, Bobby, where you do like these private events and like you just get people like the military that we always have like mandatory fun events that like we have to go to, but no one actually wants to fucking be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, do you run into that often?
It does happen, not usually often. I'll say there's generally like a spectrum of enthusiasm, and
gotcha.
like the most enthusiastic, it's like fishing. It's like the most enthusiastic, those are your 10-pound bass. You know what I mean? There's very few of them in the population, but if I get them if I get those enthusiastic people fired up just during the, connecting, instance or early on, it's contagious. Everybody else will eventually get right into it. So it doesn't happen too often. The game I did Sunday night was a lot like that, just because it was like Saturday was a rough weather day, and I think this happened for a lot of people. Sunday was really nice. So we had a lot of folks that were like, I think wanted to just kind of like get together and, fire up the grill or something like that. So I had 2 teams at trivia on Sunday, and that is and they were both brand new, and luckily they were both aged right about the same age demographic.
Sure.
So like they were probably like a few years older than I am, not much older, but they did all right. And there was a couple of tables, but it's so funny you ask about this, Joe, because there was this one table I went over to, and over there we have our highest concentration of newbies. It's the fewest numbers of regulars that pop in and come see me. Some of that has to do with like the restaurant style. It's not a cheap night out, The other end of that is because it is connected to the D Hotel. And you get a lot of guests that'll go in there for dinner, and they're staying in town for a night or two, and they're like, what the hell is this all about? So it's totally brand new to them. And there was this one table there, and this guy was sitting there with his wife, and I was like, I go to every table, and I'm like, welcome everybody. Hope everything is great. Just want to let you know that in the lounge we're going to start a game show. Here's some instructions if you'd like to play. If you don't want to play, by all means, enjoy the show. And I put the instructions on their table, and I go to walk away, and this guy's like,
we're leaving.
And I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. I'll just leave this here for whoever takes the table. He's like,
I don't want it.
I'm like, fantastic. I just walked away. I left it there, by the way. I was like, fantastic, as I backstepped away. Oh, it was a baller move. But it was kind of nuts. I did get out and actually like do some fishing. I went out and I did some trout fishing with Paul. And I had never known this, man, but this son of a bitch has never fished for trout in his life. He's never caught a trout.
Dude, at this point, you need to fucking sit him down and be like, all right, dude.
What have you not done?
What else are you keeping from me?
I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, I would have assumed as bycatch, just because a lot of the waters that we fish are stocked. So I would assume like at one point or another, he hooked into a rainbow, at one point or another. Nope. Not at all. So I told him, I was like, again, we're doing a BFS send. I was like, we'll go. It'll be a good time. This motherfucker gets out on this river that I fought with for 25 years to finally catch something on, primarily fishing it from the bank, which sucks. I finally start catching fish just a couple years ago. And I'm like, I'm starting to get this place kind of figured out a little bit. Like I kind of have an idea of how things work over there. I'm still learning a bunch, about it. So we get out there and we take the boat all the way down and we're throwing around inline spinners. And this is going to come into just the tip, but we thought we had, that rule that I throw around, one fish is a fish, two fish is a pattern.
Yeah. Yep.
There was one tiny detail about that pattern that we had to take like a step further to make it really, really pay off. And I'll talk about what that pattern was in just the tip. But man, it was nuts. This son of a bitch he started out with, was his first one a rainbow? His first one was a rainbow. I caught a PB brookie there, 14 and a half inch brook trout, which.
What was it?
14 and a half inch brook trout.
That's a nice brookie.
Yeah, I was like, damn. And I mean, over there, and that's the thing, I know I can catch it. There's a good population of brook trout there. So in the scavenger hunt, I will go and I'll hit it. The problem is getting one to hit 8 inches because there are a million of them that are just short. And I got this one really, really good brookie. That was the first fish that I got. Oh, another big kind of remarkable thing that happened that day. First shit in the woods at 2025.
Oh, hell yeah.
Fucking A, like an absolute champ. Did not realize that my GoPro was recording from the aspect of the boat, but my microphone was on the whole time.
You're welcome.
I'm just saying. This video is a fucking train wreck. So we, it was really good. So his first one he catches with, after, when he starts getting on was, a rainbow, right? Decent sized rainbow. He releases that sucker. Then he hooks into a brown, which blew my mind because I've never ever pulled a brown out of the Swift. I didn't even know if they were necessarily in there. I was like, rainbows, brookies. I'm like, I've never seen a brown. I've never seen a tiger out of here. Who knows? And he goes and he says, he's like, no shit. I was like, dude, you serious, man? This might be your thing, And he was throwing around an inline spinner. We got up to one other spot. I hooked into the smallest chain pickerel. Didn't even make the video because it was just fucking stupid.
Yeah, just ridiculous.
He got to the boat and I was like, what the fuck? And he just flipped right off. I was like, okay, fine. It's amazing. I've started recording my content in loop mode on my GoPro and I love it, but you really do have to pay a little bit more attention to what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad thing because I'm able to record now in 4K, which is nice, because I only get 4 hours on one of those big cards, which is, in 4K.
Yeah.
When you're in loop mode, you're doing it in 1 minute, or 5 minute chunks. It makes it much, much nicer. So then I hooked into a rainbow and, we moved upriver a little bit, ran into some locals, had a little conversation, and then a couple of yahoos decided we were fishing a spot. They almost got the FTG, but we have better ones. A couple of yahoos climbed up this tree and jumped right into the river, blowing up our spot, right where we were fishing. I was just like, let's just keep going upriver, bud. We'll just keep going. The traffic was nuts, dude. The wreck kayaks, there was a guy in the biggest pontoon boat I have ever seen on any body of water. He had patio furniture just strapped down to this, it was enormous.
On the Swift?
Yes, a 3 pontoon style, enormous. And dude was flying. He lives. He must live on there. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, I don't like. I've never really like explored the Swift River.
Yeah.
So I like in my mind that whole river is just like very narrow. You know what I mean?
A lot of it is. You get down to this one section where it opens up, but it gets so shallow. And he was killing it. You know. He was just living his best life. In fact, there's a bit, I think, because I edited the video today.
Yeah,
I believe there's a spot where you see him coming, and like, if you know that body of water, you'll be like, "Holy fuck, that's a huge boat!" You know?
Yeah,
like it's enormous, and yeah, I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" So, we got a little further upriver, and we were getting up close where it gets really skinny, and Paul hooks into his first brook trout. All of them decent size. Like all of these fish were at least 11 plus inches, all of them. It was really good. I think Paul hooked into one of the rainbows, probably one of the biggest ones. It was probably in the ballpark of 16, and just fucking giant, man. Just a fucking giant. And it was awesome. We had a really, really good time. It was one of those days. This is also like the first like trip where I had gone out and then just like, okay, we're getting off the water. I zipped back home, jumped in the shower, went right to trivia. But it was a really, really good day. It was beautiful out too. Like it was sunny. It wasn't crazy hot. We had some wind. So like the breeze felt kind of nice. It was really good, man. Fun stuff. And then I've got that video all set up. I think I'm gonna hold off on dropping that for a little while before rushing it. I think probably probably over the weekend. Honestly, we'll probably go for it. And this week, I don't know what my plans are for this week. I'm thinking about Wednesday going out, but my wife just hit me with that she is taking the day off. She has a professional day that she has to use or lose by the end of the school year. So she's like, okay, all right, I guess I'm gonna do Wednesday, I suppose. So I'm trying to convince her to come out with me and do a little bit of fishing and just spend the day. We'll have a good time. It'll be fun. Although I'll have to figure it out because my youngest she's getting an award at school. And there's an award ceremony that morning. That's why she's taking that Wednesday, so that she's like, now I'll just take the whole day, instead of going in late. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. We'll see. We'll see how everything plays out. But I'm excited, man. Things are good, and I'm looking forward to the 21st. I have not jumped into the scavenger hunt yet. For June. No, I haven't. I haven't. I think I know I said earlier I was thinking about taking that month off and just doing the slot this week. We'll see what happens for July, but it'll be interesting. It'll be very, very interesting. How about your week, Joe?
Dude, my week was not fishy at all. Yeah. I don't think I went out once, to be honest. Did I? I don't think I did. And I had training at work all week. It was our training week, so I was just occupied with that. And then, did I tell you that my 360 on the boat hadn't been working?
Yeah, I think you mentioned it. It wasn't working on the when you were there at the slot limit, right?
Yeah, so we finally figured it out. So Dan came over with me, helped me out. Him and his wife and kids came over last night. I was like, dude, I've troubleshot it as much as I can. I was like, before I bring it down to Thayer's, can you come take a look at it? He's like, yeah. And we ended up figuring out the cable broke like right inside the shaft of the 360, like an inch down. So we couldn't even like splice it. So I brought the boat down to Thayer's, dropped it off, and told them that, hey, I need this by the weekend because I'm supposed to leave for the St. Lawrence River next week. So granted, I don't really need the 360 there, but it's nice to have.
It'll definitely, because you never know. If you're in one of those situations, it's a tool,
Exactly.
Like anything.
Exactly. And like the big thing was like, and I didn't say this because, Mario down there is awesome. He's a good dude. They've done really good by me.
Sure.
I think they rigged it far too tight. And I think that it was the way it was rubbing. I think that's why it broke.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we end up figuring that out. And I'm on my way home today, Bobby, and I'm driving. And I just get on to, I think it was 84. And I look over and there's like a lake that that parallels the highway, and a couple of fishing kayaks in there. I'm like, oh, cool, quick look over. And then I noticed that the guy's hooked up, and I'm just getting up to speed, dude. And I'm looking, trying to figure out what this dude's. I almost get myself into like a fucking accident because I'm trying to see what this guy's catching,
That's awesome.
doing 70 miles an hour. You know what I mean? And I just saw it splashing and shit, and I'm like, and he's like, he's fighting it pretty good. I wanted to hurry up and pull over in the breakdown lane and see what he got.
I'm just fucking like, buddy.
Yeah, but no, we were talking about the slot limit earlier. Dan and I were talking about that, and it was he had a blast. I had a blast in the slot limit tournament. All of us did. Three of us were encompassing one lake, but it was funny because we're like, man, like this is, he's like this is so much different than just like putting the fish in the box. I'm like, oh yeah, dude. He's like, they're flopping around, you're trying to take a picture, like I'm pretty new to this. He's like, we're getting I must have gotten spiked fucking 10 times trying, especially those little smallies, dude. They're just so mean all the time.
Yep.
And but we were talking about it. We had a good time. I should be able to go into the one the 21st. I'd like to. I really like to probably hit the same lake, but I'm at I'm supposed to be at the St. Lawrence River from like, oh dude, I'm only going up for like a couple days because Emma kind of fucked me, and her kindergarten fucking graduation is on the 18th.
Oh yeah.
So I'm literally gonna go up there for like 2 days, turn and burn, come back on the 17th. And
yep.
So
damn, dude.
Is what it is.
Yeah, that's a tough one. And it's like, oh man, yeah, that is rough.
But I'm not, I did this, this is the content week for Fish or Dives. They hire like videographer and stuff. He hops on the boats with people and shit. And we all do our own content for him and whatnot. So it's a it's a fun as hell trip. That was where that's where I met Drew Gill last year when we were up there and shit. And it's a blast. I wouldn't miss it. Dude, I even if I could only fish 6 hours, I'd probably still drive the 8. You know what I mean?
Yep, it's worth it to do it.
Yeah, Zach bailed on me. He bailed.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's rough. Although I will tell you, that next week is where like school is ending and things are going to get a little bit better.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like,
dude, I took a ton of time off this summer. I mean, granted, most of it's for like traveling and shit.
Still,
but I'll be out there fishing. But I am bummed that I only get to stay out there for a couple days. But I feel like Emma would hold it against me until the day 100%. I'm put in the ground if I don't go to her kindergarten graduation.
Oh, could you just imagine her making a speech at her wedding and being like,
"Oh,
Dad,
yeah,
I almost want to forgive you for," you know what I mean? That's the thing. Yeah, that's tough. Daughters are. That's what they mean when they say like daughters will destroy you mentally. It's
dude, she's fucking. I mean, you have 2 of them.
Oh yeah,
she's 6 now, dude, and she like gets in these attitudes and like, dude, she like says shit that hurts my feelings now. Oh yeah, I'm a grown ass man, and she hurts my feelings.
Fucking jugular, right? Yeah,
yeah, dude. Yep,
she is her mother's
daughter. I'm like, fuck, Emma. I was like, that hurt my feelings. She's like, okay, I'm sorry, Daddy. I'm sorry. I was like, Jesus.
It's amazing.
But she's not sorry. She's like, well, now I know. Now I know what's going to get to you.
Yep. She's like, let's chalk that one in the old bag of tricks.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Man. So, but my week, I didn't get out there at all. And then I won't be able to fish this week at all because my boat's down at Thayer's, and the earliest I'll be able to pick it up is Friday, with work and shit.
That's rough.
And then I'll turn and burn up to St. Lawrence River. But yeah.
I'm looking forward big time to school being out because that's going to give me a little bit more freedom with, I'm planning on, honestly, I think we're going to push it into like early July, maybe after the 4th, but I am talking with, Brandon White and Big Chris, Bandit Fishing. about a trip to Jersey just to do some BFS stuff. Go out on the boat, multi-species BFS, just have a good time. We're talking about possible Delaware River. Plus, some spots that I know Chris says he's got some spots as well. But so there could be, we could have ourselves a blast. So there's that trip that I want to have lined up. That's going to be a short one, just like a day or two.
Speaking of BFS, I know the listeners can't hear it, but the jig heads did. Check out this grab I got for Bobby roast beef that I need to get to him.
Yeah, that is
BFS, a BFS Megabass Pop X.
It's a thing of beauty, dude.
Let me just show you size comparison so you can get an idea.
You look at it and you're like, oh, all right, that's not much smaller.
It looks normal, dude. It looks
really
normal.
Does.
Then you put the actual one next to it. You're like, oh, okay.
Pop X is enormous.
Yeah, it's shit. What? I'd like to tell you how big it is, but everything's in Japanese.
Oh, of course.
Oh no, here we go. 3/16.
3/16. There we go.
You can toss that, right?
Oh yeah. A
BFS? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
In fact, some of those HH Customs bladed jigs that I throw are 3/16. That's about where I like to top out. Say that I've thrown the morsel from Martin's.
Okay.
On those combos, because I actually get better casting on those than I do on my other, like my spinnerbait rod, Although if I put like a big honking trailer on, it helps, give it a little bit more heft. So, man, that's freaking crazy, dude. Summer is it's so close to being here. And I say this, and outside it is like 63 degrees.
Dude, it was supposed to be here. Usually, we're in the I was thinking about it. I got to check to see what the weather's supposed to be up at the St. Lawrence River, because I remember last year it was weird, same time of year, because it's opening day for smallmouth, because you cannot target them until opening day. And dude, it was hot as balls up there. I remember just chugging water, chugging. Oh,
yeah.
And I don't know if it's going to be like that this year.
My wife asked me, she goes, so are you going to take the bibs in? Because I was editing, what was the video? I think it was the video where Paul and I were at that flooded reservoir. And I was like, you got to see this. There was something. Oh, it was the hot daddy fucking thing. Did I tell you? I talk about that on the show? How Paul's daughters, on his birthday, they got on the bus and they were all talking with their friends. And they're like, yeah, it's my dad's birthday, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, oh. And all of his daughter's friends were like, to his daughters, they're like, yeah, we vote that your dad's the hot dad. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what? I go, Paul, what is that? I go, I'm not, you and I, we understand where we are on the scale of attractiveness. And we,
that's prison time right there.
I was like, but dude, I go, does this mean that the other dads are all just a bunch of fucking chuds? Think about that. And he's like, I don't know. He's like, whatever. I was like, so then I'm of course busted his chop. So he hooks into whatever his first catch was, either a smallie or a rock bass. And he's like, yeah, I was like, look at you. First BFS fish ever. The hot daddy strikes again. In fact, in the new video, I dropped one there where he's got a big old rainbow. It's fucking great, dude. I had some fun editing with this one. And so I was like, yeah, fucking hot daddy strikes again. That's fucked up.
That's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect.
Oh my God. Oh, here we go. John Hagen's with another Ohio Western weather report. Because it's true. He's right. He goes, we have another shitty system hanging out over Ohio, but it's moving out your way. That's how it is, man.
Well, it's going to hit us on the weekend, because it only rains on the weekends here.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I just saw, I've seen this meme or some type of iteration of it a bunch lately, where people will put the lake Lund actually shared one like this, where they're like the Lund on a week or the lake on a weekday, and it's just up on plains, smooth cruising, cutting across the surface.
Yeah,
and then come the weekend, and it's boom, water splashing over the sides and shit. It's freaking crazy, dude. It's the weekends is just bad. Speaking of memes, Joe, I've discovered I am becoming an old man.
Okay.
I do not understand why it's become a trend for people to catch a bass and bring it into a fast food establishment to show it off to the employees.
I seen that too. Like, I don't know either. I saw it and I don't understand the premise behind it.
I'm like, I mean, if you're going to do like a catch and cook, like I've seen where people will say like, oh yeah, we just caught this, walleye or this salmon and we're going to bring it into this restaurant, and they like work something out, like I want to say like I've seen Joe Cermelli do that with like on like trick shots or something where it's like they've done or maybe even like some of the Googans where like they've taken a catch and they've brought it to a restaurant and they're like, yeah, we're going to prepare it this way. But no, they're just like showing it off and then they're like, okay, back in the live, well, back to the lake. I'm like, it's like a fucking field trip. And I just don't understand.
The latest one I saw was he brought it into prom.
Oh my God. I thought that was a joke. Really?
No. Yeah. I mean, and I don't know, like, I don't know what they're doing with these fucking fish, but yeah, this kid brought it into prom.
On prom night. God damn.
I don't know, man.
You rent a limo with like a big 5-gallon bucket.
Dude, that's the crazy part. Kids don't rent limos anymore. Think about it. When was the last time you saw a limo on the street?
Very rarely. Like they stick out now. When you see one.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. Meg and I were talking about that recently. I was like, because, we did our kid. We just dropped them off at prom. I was like, you guys aren't like, dude. He's like, no. I was like, okay.
I think now rideshare has kind of killed a lot of the limo business.
Yeah, probably.
Where they're like, I'm just going to Venmo or I'm just going to Venmo. I'm just going to freaking Uber there or whatever. And it's like, then you don't have to worry about parking or anything like that or fucking pickup times, coordination.
Yep. So my kid paid the price though.
Oh,
so Meg and I dropped him off and we were going to go have a date night and then pick him back up, which we didn't have to because he ended up going with his friends. But I go, you sure you want us to drop you off? He's like, well, yeah, I mean, I'm like, cool. So I dropped him off to the venue and I had my truck, and my truck's got it's like that Ram, like the higher level, like sound system. There's like an amp in the back and stuff, dude. Yep. I was blasting the loudest hood rat 90s gangster rap ever. Like I'm talking like NWA. Like, and the kids don't like that shit these days.
No, they don't. It's cringy. Dude,
he's legit. Like, can you please turn it down? Like, no, seriously. Like, it was funny at first. He's like, no, please turn it down. I was like, nope. And I'm dropping you right off to the door. He's like, fuck.
Dude, that's when you get out, throw on some shades, and go open the door for him like that.
Yeah, so he's probably happy he'll have his license for next year's prom. So.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Oh, my God. Oh, I can only freaking imagine, dude. Unbelievable. Well, we do have a headline this week. And
we do.
And I think that this is one that I think you guys are going to want to hear because a lot of people were buzzing about this. And I think we had a couple of people in the Facebook group that even had chimed in about it. But let's go ahead. We'll do this.
All right, everyone. Little follow-up to our ABA nonsense that we talked about last week, the American Bass Anglers, and them having their winning checks or their payout checks bouncing. So there's a whole nother big article here. I'm just going to kind of paraphrase it because I've been getting insider knowledge a little bit. So essentially, people are still haven't gotten paid. Checks are still bouncing. And it is now turning into a lawsuit. So far, 2 members have actively began filing for a lawsuit. And after a little insider information, it looks like this may turn into a class action, Bobby.
Really?
Yep.
Well,
yep. They're looking. There's a lawyer out there. I don't have his name right now because I kind of was watching it live on a feed, but he's actually an angler. I believe he's competed in ABA. He's an attorney, and he is now representing many of these people. And it looks like they are almost at what they need to make it a class action lawsuit. And apparently we talked about the boat, right? We talked about the guy, the gentleman didn't get his boat. So there might be some fraudulent stuff going on now. And here's what I mean.
Oh.
So they gave him a certificate for the boat. And apparently the certificate is, hey, here's your certificate. Now you give this to Camus and they will build your boat or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The gentleman did that, and Camus had no idea what the certificate was or what this guy was talking about, because American Bass Anglers never prearranged that gentleman's winning boat.
Oh my God.
So,
they might get a
ABA's
lawsuit
president,
from
Morris
Camus.
Sheehan's still trying to do, damage control, but it seems as though he's gotten a little quiet of late.
Yeah.
And let me just be a little clear on something. So when American Bass, all this stuff is happening at the national level events.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like the more local regional stuff, like I fish, that's mostly 90% like cash payouts that you pay at the ramp, you get your cash payouts. So there has been nothing at that level. Those regional, the AFT division or the American Fishing Tour division. And I have not personally been affected by this and that. The only way I've been personally affected is I'm a little pissed that I paid all the money I did for that military tournament and the money still hasn't been paid out.
Yeah.
So I was beat. I didn't win, but if I'm paying towards somebody to win who beat me, then I want that money to get to him.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to tell you right now, if they reach out to all of us for that class action, I will fucking join that thing, because my money should have been going, towards the winner, who has yet to see that cash. So that's kind of where it's at now. They are still stating that they are going to have their upcoming, their upcoming national championship in, I believe it's supposed to be in September.
Mm-hmm.
When you get into some of the threads, the online threads and stuff, it doesn't look like anyone's planning on showing up to that. So if I was a betting man, Bobby,
mm-hmm.
I would be really surprised if American Bass Anglers even exists next season.
Yeah. From the way it sounds.
Yeah. So one thing, there is a little thing on a little note that was recently put on the American Bass Anglers website that everything will now be a cash payout.
Yeah, wasn't that was in the email last week though that you had reviewed?
Yeah. So they stuck it on they did stick it on the website. Let me actually go into the,
because I thought it makes sense what you're saying now, how. Because I think in that email, he said something like, 90% of our events are cash at the ramp. And I was like, what is that? How does that even mean? But like you're saying, like those localized trails that are ABA affiliates, that makes sense. So he could speak to that. And it looks really good for them,
right.
But
right.
Yeah, that still doesn't say anything about the championship level or that higher.
Yeah, I mean, it's still, the site still looks, okay. All events now feature all cash payouts. ABA already pays out in cash, not checks, at 90% of events, just like you said.
Yep.
Now it'll be at 100% of events. This refers strictly to the method of payment. So they're doing absolute damage control. Mm-hmm. I mean, Camus, I highly doubt if Camus is going to be their featured sponsor after, this season with those shenanigans. So,
I mean, yeah, I can't believe they would have the audacity to give away a certificate for a boat that hadn't been agreed on by Camus.
Right.
Like, right. I would be afraid that might be a separate lawsuit from Camus.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, that's essentially just straight up fraud. So
yeah,
there's some pretty wild shit going on with ABA right now. But there are so many different series without. I mean, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 circuits, and those have all different divisions within them too. Mm-hmm. So I think they've they're kind of at that point, and they opened 3 or 4 new divisions this year. So it's seems like they really bit off a little bit more than they could chew and had the cart before the horse.
But, hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's kind of wild. I'm gonna keep an eye on this. Like I said, I have a lot of people who've been reaching out and kind of giving me some heads up updates on some stuff. So
Damn.
This is where we're at now. So if you guys want to go on and read it in depth of the new update, you can go on Outdoor Life, and they have the latest. It was dropped, looks like 3 days ago.
Damn.
So it's a big long article, but a lot of it's just kind of repeating what we already talked about last week.
That's crazy, dude. I can't even imagine. That's absolutely nuts.
It's nuts. It's an absolute mess.
Well, shit, dude. Well, yeah, let's see what happens over the next, over the remainder of this season and see what the hell the future holds for ABA, because that could be pretty freaking dicey. And keep us in the loop, too. If that goes class action, I've never heard of that before on a fishing trail.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that is freaking bananas, dude. Holy
so
Jesus.
that's the rumor going on that it can't, and I don't remember I don't remember the details of like what makes it and what it has to be a class action, but the attorney was pretty confident that they can make it there. Yeah, which that right there is a company killer right there. Class action lawsuits.
Oh yeah, 100%. That is brutal, dude. Well, shit. Let's go ahead. We're going to take a short break, guys. We're going to turn this train around and get back on track. In our next segment, we got Just the Tip for you. We're going to talk about that whole one fish is a fish, two fish is a pattern. But while, it doesn't have to end there. You want to pay attention to the details. That's coming up. We have not one, but two FTGs that are highly entertaining. And then we have, I don't think we have any gear of the week this week, but we do have multiple calls for the live well segment. One of them involves the lunar phase and some of our choices in baits for when it ain't happening. So stick around. We'll see you with more. Don't go too far. We'll see you in a bit.
And perhaps play a little game called Just the Tip. Just for a second, just to see how it feels. Or ouch, ouch, you're on my hair.
Okay.
Alrighty, guys. So this week's Just the Tip is kind of an interesting one because you've heard it mentioned on the show numerous times from originally Sean the Fisherman, and then it's something that I began just following as, just words of advice. But you've seen it in my YouTube videos. One fish is a fish, two fish is a pattern. And yes, that is true. 100%. That's true. If you're, out fishing an area and you catch one, and then it's a, significant amount of time before you're able to get a bite, or get a fish on the hook. That's really what it gets down to. Not about you getting him in the boat, just getting a fish on the hook. If he shakes off, it counts because the pattern, that's what counted. He ate. That's what we want. Not a follow, not a tap. We're talking about bites when you get one on the hook. So you catch one, boom, that's a fish. Catch two, and you've got a pattern. Then you have a little bit of confidence with that bait. But variables come into play, folks. And I'm going to set the stage for you like this. So we had started fishing this last trip with myself and Paul throwing 1/8 ounce inline spinners. And I was throwing one that was like a fire tiger pattern with a gold blade. No, actually, let me back up. I was throwing one that was an entire gold inline spinner. It was the dangle the brass from Dark Horse Tackle. I was throwing that. I had gotten a couple of bites, couple of taps on it. Nothing committing. Didn't put anything in the boat. Didn't think anything of it. I was going to keep fishing and see if we could get something to commit. Paul had started throwing something that was, I want to say it was black with a gold blade, and then he lost that bait and decided that he would put on a, what color was it? It was a fire tiger type. So we're talking a little bit of orange, a little bit of chartreuse, a little bit of dark green mixed in there. And he starts throwing this around, and he then starts getting bit. I decide to make a change and see, maybe is it the gold blade? Really, that's that important. So I switched to a chrome, and this was again all metal, all chrome, not a single bite. So I said, all right, we're going to go ahead and shift gears. I threw a fire tiger inline spinner with a gold blade and a chartreuse dressed hook, the feathers on the back, chartreuse. This is when I hooked my first fish. Okay, one fish is a fish. Let's see if this is a pattern. Paul then hooked his fish. And I'm like, what is the common link in between here? Well, they both have a gold blade. They both have that fire tiger pattern. Maybe it's this, that bright color that's just getting it done. Maybe that's it. And then Paul had really started getting many more bites than I was. And I made a choice. Like I was looking, I said, let me take a look at your lure just to see. His dressed hook had that same or similar chartreuse feather in the dressing, but he also had like this red foil that was mixed in there. And it was so shiny in the sunlight in this really clear water. So I fished for a little while, kind of being pig-headed, and I made a change to any other color that had any other pattern that had that red foil, because I keep a lot of inline spinners in my trout box. And I found one. It was totally different color. Rainbow trout pattern with a rainbow trout painted blade, but it had a green feather with that red foil in there. First cast, I hooked up with the last fish that I was able to put in the boat. And I'm just saying that while you have to pay attention to the variables and be willing to play around. If you're throwing something that's a pattern, and a lot of folks do this, they get hung up on color. If you're throwing something that's all green pumpkin, let's say, or, all, one specific color, that's easy to figure out. There's less variables. But when you're throwing something that's a pattern, what is it that they're relating to? Is it the chartreuse that's in that fire tiger pattern? Or is it the orange? Because I think that maybe it might have been the orange was close enough to that red to get it done. And then, making that change. So there's just, especially in clear water situations, take a look, take a step back and consider and that's the tip. Consider all of the variables involved. What is it about that one bait? Because sometimes you get so in your mind thinking one fish is a fish, two fish is a pattern. This is all I need. Fuck yo rules. And sometimes it pays off to pay attention to the small details and dial in on that nuance. There's your tip, take all the variables into consideration. And it's, I hate to be that guy, but it's like, sometimes, especially in clear water situations, that's like when a lot of that matters the most.
Right.
It really does, I don't know. So that's that. Let's shift gears. I can't wait to play this first one. You're absolutely going to love this. All right, so like I said, this week, the Jigs and Bigs hotline has been ringing off the hook. We have a bunch of messages. We got this first FTG. This just came in today. Or was it? No, I think it was yesterday, actually, that this one came in. And this one comes in from Mark B.
Hey, guys, this is Mark B. I have a broke on the boat and an FTG all in one. Listening to a podcast last week, and this guy mentions an app called Whatnot. I downloaded the app and started bidding on fishing items immediately. I ended up purchasing a metric shit ton of gear, so fuck that guy, Joe Brown on Jigs and Bigs. Anyways, thanks for the podcast, guys.
I had a feeling one of those was going to come in because that site is just, it's money, dude. It's too good.
It's too good, dude.
Yeah.
And it adds up quick. I mean, for you jig heads, I was actually showing Bobby, this is just a quick, this stuff came in today. I mean, there's straight up from Japan Pop Maxes and the special edition, the coffin. I mean, I have these, hand painted, pop or, all this stuff. I go, oh dude, it's awful. It's awesome. It's awful, but it's awesome.
It is. It's one of those things. It's a roller coaster ride. It's got to be.
Yeah.
And I know. That's the thing. You nailed it. It'll be that time when I'm like, oh, I can't sleep. I'm gonna go ahead and go and whatnot and see what's up. Oh, sweet. I got all this stuff coming to me. and then I'll get home.
The one that I refuse to go into is like, I'm a shoe guy. Like, I love shoes. I've always like, I love Jordans. I love, Air Maxes. And that's kind of how that site started, was like, no, it started with like sports cards and memorabilia and stuff. And then like the shoes. So like, it's the shoes one that I'm afraid to go into. Like that'll be terrible.
Oh
for
yeah,
me.
because you're like, oh my god, that's limited edition. Blah 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 blah.
Exactly, dude. I'm like, I'm waiting on so much shit to come in, dude. But I'm like, I'm getting good price. And here's the good part. I've been thinking about selling on there, Bobby, because I have so much shit in my garage that I don't use. I'm never gonna throw.
I was thinking about that. I'm like, as a seller, this could be really great.
Yeah,
because that's the thing. You buy a bunch of lots. You know what I mean? That's really what you want to do. You want to buy a bunch of stuff. Like, you remember, and I'm sure they're still doing it. Like these Amazon, like you could get a pallet for like $200, and it's going to have a value of like $700 or something like that. But now you've got to go through it. If you could find like one of those lots of baits that were just like random baits, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And then use that, because you eliminate the overhead of needing a store. Because for a while, that was really popular. People would open these stores, and on like Tuesday, all the stuff would be out there. And then like as the week would go by, the price per item would get cheaper,
Yep.
And you just have to dig through the bins and get it, whatever it is. And they're just like, they're like, we don't care what the value of these things is, as long as we move the bulk of it. And then, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. People are just fucking consumers. All of us. Yeah,
it's crazy though, because like a lot of these, like a lot of there's a couple things I definitely paid like more than their original price, but I'm not like egregiously, but you can't find them anymore. But like I think the special edition Pop Max, I think I paid maybe sometimes I put the price on here. I think I paid maybe like $18 for it.
Yeah. And what's that go like as retail?
Dude, it's they're on eBay for like $30-$40 and shit.
Yeah, in that
the ones
sense,
in the coffin.
Yeah,
it's so it's and the good thing is if you like stick to it one seller, because I'm starting to see like there's certain sellers I really like that I'll jump into, and like some are just like stuff I'll never
you're never gonna use it.
But after you like get a couple items, it goes right to free shipping. So like you'll get charged for like the first couple items where it's like $2 shipping or $3 or whatever. But if you buy a few items from them, it turns into free shipping.
That's great. Yeah.
So don't do it, people. Don't, if you don't want your wallet to get absolutely smoked, don't do it. Don't do it.
You've heard it here first. It's a promotion and a word of caution at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. I put my hidden credit card on there, so me.
That's smart. That is very, very smart.
Every guy's got to have a hidden credit card, and because Meg would murder me. But
so. This next call that came in is just magical. This one is from Chris in New Jersey. And I will say this, so when you call the hotline, the voicemail runs for 3 minutes and then it'll cut you off. It did cut him off, but we get plenty to get the gist. Just enjoy.
Hobby roast beef. What's up, buddy? It's your boy, the Bandit. Big Chris from New Jersey. Sorry if you hear a little breezy or clicking. I'm currently trying to light my fish whistle on my brake in my car. But I had to give you a call with my FTG. At least I think it's an FTG. Anyway, I was stopping for my usual short-term 30-minute stop on my way home the other day, and trying to catch myself some fish. Sure enough, there's some bedding bass around right in front of me. Sorry, okay. So I'm fishing. Mind you, this spot that I'm fishing is one of my little spots where it's pretty much for one person, two if it's your buddy. You can kind of work it out between the two of you. So I'm fishing, And all of a sudden, somebody pulls off the road and pulls in behind my truck and decides they're going to get out. And who is it but Meth Mouth Mary and her boyfriend or her husband, Michael, with the same matching mouth, and her Barbie fishing pole, who decides she's going to come over and stand right next to me and cast right where I'm fishing. And then have a conversation about fishing and talk more fishing. And then her boyfriend comes over, who decides he wants to have more conversations about fishing. Now, mind you, I'm here trying to fish, enjoying myself in peace and quiet. Got my glasses on, trying to maybe get some footage, shoot a picture, and here are these fucking idiots crowding my space, trying to take my fish. Like, you couldn't, hey, what's going on? Hey, do you mind if I fish next to you? Nothing. Stand right next to me, start fishing, conversation like I've been fishing with you for years. No. Who the fuck are you? I don't even know you. That's crazy. And proceed to catch the bedding bass standing right in front of me. Doesn't know it because they can't see into the water. I come with my polarized glasses. I have to let her know she's hooked up with this fish. She catches the bedding bass, pulls it out excited with her piece of crap Barbie pole, wants to take her picture. They then proceed to take the fish off the hook, go let it off, walk around.
And that's where we cut off. But you get the gist of it. Oh, my God. And this made me think of something. I watch a variety of different YouTubers, and I like to watch like a lot of like the camping YouTubers, even if they're not necessarily my style of camping. And there's a camping YouTuber channel that's called Small Plots with Kevin. And Kevin is not your typical camping like creator. He does like super ultralight stuff, and he's in like upstate New York, like somewhere like I want to say like Syracuse, something, Rochester maybe, out in that area. And he does like these urban stealth camps, and it's kind of interesting because he'll go and like set up and like, you know, do his whole thing there and everything. But there was this one video where he had put a bit where he was kind of scouting some areas that he wanted to go, and he found actually like some like homeless camps and shit like that were in there. And he's like, so we're gonna leave these guys alone, you know, and everything. And he went up to this one spot where there was some access to water, and he's like, yeah, this is great. And he goes, I wonder if this is like somebody's fishing spot. Although, and then he says in there, he goes, I you know, fishermen, I love you, but most of you guys are trashing all of these spots with your stuff all over the place. And I thought this, and then I got this message from Chris. I was like, those aren't fishermen that are there. Those are idiots that decided they wanted to fish. Because generally, real anglers, real fishermen, you know, real people that are connected, we're stewards to the environment, or at least we try to be, you know, as much as possible. Like, we take a lot of pride in that. These two, like Mary and Mike that Chris was talking about with their meth mouths, they are not anglers. You know what I mean? They're not, they're just out there. For them, this is a novelty. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have any of the etiquette, none of that stuff. They might have been tweaking at the time, Chris. I don't even know. That's awful. And it sucks because, you know, you have somebody like that who comes into the space that you're occupying and enjoying spending your time the way you choose. And they're making it in a situation where now you have to deal with them. And you're not able to utilize the 30 minutes or so that you've got to be able to put in, you know, in between work and home or wherever it is that you have going on. So right. I understand the frustration there because, you know, you're robbing me of my own time at that point. Mm-hmm. I don't want to fucking have a conversation with you. And it's like, and it sucks because you got to look at somebody and go like,
hey, look. I only have 30 minutes to do what I'm doing here, and 0 minutes is what I want to spend talking to you.
And like, even though that, like, there's no way they're going to misunderstand that, like, it's very clear, it still comes off like you're a douche. And so many of us are way too nice. We need to stop being so nice and just go like, hey, look, man, I only get 30 minutes to fish. You know, can you leave me alone?
Pound sand.
You know, yeah, exactly. Hey, oh, you know what? Go over here. I think the fact that he told her that she was hooked up with a big on the bed was already way too nice. Way too nice. Yeah. Oh man, I'm sure he's going to listen to this show and probably send me over the details. But Chris, send me the details of how that ended after they got the fish out.
Please.
I want to know now. There's a part of me that thinks they brought it home to eat. Ugh. There's a part of me that thinks they brought it home to eat.
Maybe they fucking maybe they turned it into a bowl or something, or like a crack pipe.
Maybe that's possible.
So you mentioned homeless encampments. Did I tell you about the one I have at my house? Did I tell that story yet?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Oh, so real quick, and guys, cut me off. I already did it, but Bob, you'll tell me. The kids are making a fort in the backwoods.
Awesome,
right?
Love those days.
Sick. Yeah, and they've been working on it like for a while, and because I got a lot of woods in the back of my house, and I was like, "What are you guys up to?" They're like, "Oh, we're gonna make." And even Emma was involved, so I was like, "Perfect." Like, they're all working together, and so I went somewhere. I went like fishing or something or whatever. I come back hours later, dude, and like, I don't notice it until I'm like up in my kitchen, my window going out like overlooks that area, dude. They had found like tarps and shit that I wasn't using.
Oh, so, no
dude,
shit.
The back of my woods looks like a straight up like
Shanty
Los
town.
Angeles like homeless encampment. You just see like blue tarps like everywhere and tents and shit. I'm like, oh my God. I'm expecting the ones we did where we like find wood and shit everywhere and they're like trying to, oh no, dude, straight up homeless encampment. There's like furniture. I don't even know where the furniture came from. Like,
they're just pilfering off of
we don't like have neighbors and shit. So I don't even know where they got that. They probably stole it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So so that was kind of funny. But good on them. Good on them for doing it.
I will never forget. So my old neighbors when I was growing up in Belchertown, my neighbors Tourney and Matt, we built this fort. Like it was literally like off of old pallets and this fallen like tree that we just built. It was like rotting. It was ridiculous. But like there was a functioning door. You could go in, you could stand up, and there was a floor. Like it was set up. It was actually pretty decent. We had an area with like a fire pit. We had like this big drum in the middle and everything. And like we would go out there multiple nights in the summer and just like camp out all night. And it was awesome.
Yeah.
And there was one night where like I think I had to work like the next morning because I started working really young, and I had to work like that morning or for whatever, and they were out there with another buddy, and like this other buddy was a little bit of a pyro, and I can remember this kid lit a living tree on fucking fire. Dude, it was so then they started to freak out and they're running over to my pool, grabbing buckets of water out of the pool to fucking put it out. My father woke up and he was like, what the fuck? Oh my God, we're such fucking assholes.
Dude, so get this one. So I think this was like, it might have been the same day or in the morning or whatever. So, I split wood at my house for like the outdoor like camp or fire pit we have and stuff. And I bought this like real nice axe like 2 years ago. It was like $130.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And I'm hearing like some stuff going on, and like Jackson, one of the twins, and Emma, they're like kind of the ones that are like kind of do like shit that like I'm like, guys, you need to stop.
Be careful.
And I go back there, and they have my number one. They're fucking 10 years old and 6 years old, swinging a very sharp axe around,
of course,
and they were chopping rocks with it.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
They're chopping rocks with my $130 axe that is now just fucking useless.
It's a sledgehammer.
Yeah, it's just a sledgehammer now. It was one of those ones where I'm like, I go, Jackson, I go, number one, what makes you think you should be swinging around a fucking axe? And I go, number two, I go put it back in the garage. And I go, number three, I'm going to walk away because I'm about to smash both you guys through those fucking trees right now. So I'm just going to walk away. I'm going to walk away because I'm a little angry and I don't want to be angry at you guys. Let this be a lesson learned that if you do it again, I'm going to literally throw you through a wall.
We're smashing rocks.
Dude. Like, and like Emma doesn't fucking know. She's 6, dude.
Yeah.
Jackson knew better. He saw me walking up and like the look on his face was like, I am fucked.
Yep.
I am fucked. And Jeremiah, I mean, you met Jeremiah. He's overdoing his own thing with his like back turn because he's like, oh, they're fucked. Like he knew it was wrong. He's like, I want nothing to do with this.
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing too, because like when you're a kid, you don't think like, oh, I'm going to swing this axe into this rock and all these little pieces of stone are going to go everywhere.
And we don't have any eye protection.
No, dude. No. I'm just like, oh my god. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, okay, because we have a ton of like legend shit like in the back of our woods, and they were like, apparently there's like they're trying to turn a piece of the ledge into a chair. Apparently.
Oh wow.
So yeah, but all the pieces flying off were just like the pieces of my fucking axe, like So now the edge looks like a fucking mountain range.
Oh, I believe it, man. That's fucking great, dude.
Not even repairable, but gotta love kids.
That is freaking brutal.
And I love them.
John Higgins chimes in. He says regarding like those fishermen, he goes, nope, those people leave behind worm, chicken liver containers, and soda and beer cans and plastic Fireball bottles. Hate them fuckers. Pack in, pack out. And you know what? It's always the spots that are the easiest to access.
Yes.
That get messed up. And that's why I say those folks aren't anglers. Like, dude, trust me, I'm a lazy fisherman. Like, if there's a spot that's easy to access, I'm going to fish it. You know what I mean? But I'm also going to pick up some shit that's there. You know? Yeah. It's bananas, dude. I can't even believe it. But I think it's time to dip into the live well. Let me just double check. We got both of our calls, Mark and Chris. Let's go ahead and do it. We'll jump into it right here.
Hi there. Welcome to the Live Well, where we crack open a ramp beer and attempt to answer all of your burning questions.
Oh my goodness, guys. We got a good live well segment this week. We got a couple of questions. Yes, we are going to hear from Eli again, but not first. We have a call that we're going to take first. And this one's we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive. I think that we're probably going to do quite a bit of talking about this. Let's go ahead. We'll just get right into it right here. And Jigheads, get ready to chime in with your opinions and your thoughts. Here we go. This is from Brian.
Hey, my name's Brian. Currently sitting in traffic on the 495-24 interchange, so I figured what a good time to ask a live well question. What I want to know is, what do you guys think about the use of like lunar forecast? I think that's how you pronounce it. I guess it uses like the sun and the moon, like how far away the moon is or whatever, and like phases and stuff like that to try and predict how active fish will be at any given time of day. What do you think of the accuracy of something like that? And if you think that the activity is low, what is your confidence bait? Like, what are you throwing that you're going to be like, all right, the fish aren't biting, but they will definitely hit this 100% of the time. Thanks, guys.
All right. So I think as far as like solar, what he's saying is solar lunar. I think we're really talking about here primarily is like moon phase, and what there are some apps like Bass Forecast, for instance, would label major and minor time. That's like when the bite clock is like most active.
Right.
At least that's what I think of when I think of what he's talking about there. So just to give like a little bit of like reference on like what is how does the moon actually affect fishing? There's a couple of ways that it can affect. There's actually a handful of ways that it can be a factor. Freshwater fish are influenced by the lunar cycle, typically through more subtle ways compared to saltwater species. Moonlight, spawning cues, and feeding behavior still play important roles. And this is a handful of ways that freshwater fish specifically react. So moonlight and night feeding, there's a relationship there. And I've heard this described from multiple sources before. But one of the ways is that the more predatory fish, your bass, walleye, catfish, your pike, they'll tend to be more active at night when the moon is full, because of higher visibility. Now, prey fish like minnows or sunfish or shad, they will typically seek more shelter during a full moon situation, knowing that the predators are able to see them. Now, the new moon offers for darker nights, which favors the species that use stealth or are a little bit more active in low light. Also, that new moon can give a little bit higher of a sense of confidence for some of those prey fish as well. So I've heard actually comments where, or discussions where the reverse can be true. I've heard people who are all about, the full moon is the best. The full moon is where you're going to get the best bites, or, stuff like that. But I've also heard people say that the new moon is the best because there are so much less light that your bait fish are a little bit more all over the place. And, with their lateral line, they can still find an object in the water that they're targeting. And there is still obviously light. The other thing, too, is that you have to think, by going based on that alone, a full moon can be completely fucked up by a cloudy night. You know what I'm saying? Versus a new moon cannot. Mm-hmm. You see what I mean? So you got to take that into consideration. I wouldn't ever put all my eggs in that one basket necessarily, but let's talk about how the moon can affect the spawn. A lot of freshwater fish, they take spawning cues from the environment, like, temperature and the amount of sunlight and things like that. But the lunar cycle can also fine tune that. Like largemouth bass, bluegill, and crappie will often show increased spawning behavior around the full moon in the spring, particularly when water temperatures are in a specific range. The full moon is also believed to act as a biological signal, triggering or synchronizing spawning events. As far as how the moon plays in with, feeding, studies and anecdotal evidence both suggest increased feeding activity around the new moon and full moon, often due to the gravitational effects or slight behavioral shifts in prey availability. Moonrise and moonset, especially if they align with sunrise and sunset, are often feeding peaks as well. And then solar lunar calendars that are used by anglers are based on this. Major and minor feeding times often align with those specific lunar positions. I want to get through this next section and kind of do like a little brief overview. But there's one thing that spot about the major and minor times I want to jump on, because I have a personal experience with that. As far as fishing success, some anglers claim that more bites can be had during the 3 to 5 days around the full and new moon, but that larger fish caught at night during the full moon you get larger bites during the full moon, especially of predatory species. Bass and crappie particularly respond to the full moon in spring, when they may feed more aggressively or be more visible on beds during the spawn. And overall, like with the new moon, what we're looking at is darker nights, more stealthy predator activity, good for catfish, walleye, etc. Full moon, brighter nights, increased visibility with more active feeding and spawning. Moonrise and set, you can trigger those feeding windows, especially if they're overlapping. And then in spring, the full moon can play a big role with spawn specifically. Now, let's talk about that major and minor window. I'm going to tell you, like, I know a lot of people who try to get information from some of these sources. And there was a time where I relied on these as well. I would try to plan a day when I was going to fish. Like Bass Forecast is a perfect example. Like I would go and I would look at the weather that was provided there. I would look at what was projected to be the major times to hit. And you know, sometimes these are times that you're just not going to be able to fish, you know? Like you're just not going to be available to get out there at that time because maybe that major time is like 2:30 a.m. to like 4:30 a.m., you know, something like that. And it's before the sun even comes up, or it's so late that you're just going to miss it. Or, you know, those awesome days or when it's like right in the middle. But I got to say, like in regards to my own experiences, I have never, ever really had that be a player, you know, like there is a bite, obviously, like there's a spot, like they're going to turn on most of them, you know, and they're going to bite, but like you can elicit a bite regardless, you know, fishermen do it all the time. You know, what do you think, Joe? Where do you weigh in?
Yeah, so like it's funny because like I've always heard like, you know, and me being kind of a younger guy in the game or was a younger guy, I kind of like took the moon phase as like a old wives' tale.
Yep.
When it comes to fishing, you know, but I obviously hear it come up more and more often. It's just something that I haven't studied. That like, you know, hearing this, it's like, okay, I really need to like. I really need to do this.
Yep.
And you know, that being said, you know, a lot of it has to do with the fact that, you know, obviously weather, cold fronts, warm fronts,
sure.
You know, weather fronts, all, you know, can all affect fish. And we've all seen it. Those of us who are on the lake a long time. And, you know, I also grew up, you know, deer hunting and like seeing the effects of, you know, full moons versus, you know, new moons, half moons, all that, you know, and, it in knowing that it affects those, you know, wild animals all in different ways. But I just haven't encompassed it into the fishing world yet. So I'm glad we got this question because it kind of gets my brain moving a little bit and realizing like, hey, this is something I really need to look into. I definitely think it does because I believe Zach's another huge one on the moon phase, and him and I believe it was a conversation with him I had about it. And you know, it's kind of like the you know one fish to catch, you know, two's a pattern type deal. It's all right. If I have all these people talking about it, maybe I need to really look into it a little bit more. And
the thing is I hear a lot of conflicting.
Sure.
Talk about it.
Sure.
Like, I'll get, like another one specific guy that I know that is huge about the moon is Lockwood. You know, Cody.
Right. Yep.
Cody is one of these guys where he will message everybody and be like, "Hey, you know, supermoon on this Thursday. You want to be out there? Make sure that you're out there." And I have fished the full moon a number of times, specifically noting like, oh my God, today's a full moon. I will say this. I think on the outskirts of the full or new moon is better than like smack dab in the middle. You know what I mean? I mean is in between the two, you know, you get just on those edges, like things start to ramp up, like they maybe get a little bit more fired up, but I don't like, again, I think that's just more of like, we're talking about every so many days, you know what I mean? It's just, it's a cycle and it just keeps going. So I feel like that comes into play somewhat, but is it a make or break? No, it's not. Because I wanted to see this today. So I just picked a random local location. I opened up Bass Forecast to take a look. Now, for today, they are stating that, well, let me double check. What's the date? What's the date here? Yeah, it's Monday. So Monday right now. So as of today, so it would have been Monday morning. So The major time, the first hit for it was 4 minutes long. It was midnight to 12:04 a.m. It was a 4 minute long major time. Okay. If you are planning your day around a 4 minute window of fishing, stay in bed. I'm just saying, just stay in bed. Because I think that there are other conditions and factors that play more of a role than the moon phase. Like the moon phase is on a lunar, it's a schedule, it's a clock. It goes through its phase every 14 days, it cycles and it does what it's going to do. Ain't nothing stopping that. But the wind, that'll fuck shit up. That could move a front in. It could turn them off. You get a shit ton of rain that drops that water temp. You know, you get a bunch of clouds on that full moon, and all of a sudden that light's not what maybe it was you were expecting. You know, maybe that full moon for that body of water isn't working, isn't doing what it should for light to make them so fired up. But you go 50 miles away to a different body of water, and it's clear skies. Different situation. You know, so I don't think that you can really make that call. Now, I will say, with that said, the other major time is 10:28 a.m. to 12:28 p.m. So right in that window, as you get into late morning into noon, you know, you have this chunk of 2 hours there. That's your major time. I have fished those times and gotten skunked, and then I've kept fishing out of those times and finally hooked up on fish. So I don't know that you can, when it comes to fishing, I would never put your eggs in one basket. I don't think you're ever going to do that. Just like relying on these apps and tools and stuff like that. It's a puzzle, and all they're going to do is deliver pieces. It's up to you to figure all that out. I know that Sean the Fisherman has told me on his own that he does infinitely better on a new moon than a full moon.
Okay.
And like, I kind of understand. I kind of understand why, you know? Classic times, 2 p.m. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. 12 p.m. 12 p.m. It's a short window. It is a super short window. Now, the second half of the question was regarding baits that work, and he used some phrasing in there, baits that work 100% of the time. The only baits that work 100% of the time are the ones that have hooks. I'm just saying, because no other specific bait works every single time, but if it has a hook, it can work. You know what I mean? I know that makes me sound like an asshole, but it's the truth. I don't think there's a bait that works 100% of the time, every single time, anything like that. Especially when it comes to confidence baits, because I think that has more to do with the angler than the bait.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think he may have more so been asking like, hey, like when everything's shut off, what do you guys try to throw?
That I get. And I 100% get.
Yeah, and for me, if that's a question, or that's kind of how I interpreted it. If they're shut off, dude, I go right to, I have 3 things I'll try.
Yep.
I'll 4 things actually, are the only 4 things in my deck: a drop shot, a shaky worm, a Ned rig, and a wacky rig.
Really?
I'm just fishing them slow, man. Yeah. Yep.
So there's really 2 things. I'll say 3 things that if it's really, really slow and I've got to get a bite, one of them's a drop shot, but I'm not gonna throw that to find fish. One is a jig head swim bait. Like as light as I can get away with, just to be able to move that around, or maybe even a fluke, to tell you the truth. Something like that, but like a bait fish profile that I can move around water that's decent around cover, something like that. Like nothing that I'm going to flip into anything like super heavy. And the other one would be a finesse jig of some sort. Some kind of a finesse jig where I can throw that down. In fact, in a lot of ways, sometimes that drop shot rig that I'm throwing, I'm doing double duty because I've got a Ned rig tied at the bottom of it. But yeah, something like that. Like I would say the biggest thing is, and if there's one thing, probably the one variable that I think you and I both have in common here, Joe, is the downsize aspect.
Yes.
I think that's a big one, is that for a lot of folks, downsize, slow it down, and really, like, it's funny when I'm throwing that little plastic swim bait, all I'm really looking for is just to identify fish activity. And then I'll throw something else. But like, as far as spending time in a body of water, I can at least cover water a little bit faster with that than throwing like a net or a drop shot or something.
Right.
Once I get a strike, I if they miss it, I'll go ahead and follow up with something else. So really, a lot of those baits are my follow-up baits. If I'm throwing a big bladed jig, or I'm throwing a spinner bait, or, anything like that, and I'm covering water, trying to get bit, rattle trap or something, and I get a bite and I miss it, I'm going to follow with one of those, like a finesse jig or something else to put out in there. But yeah, I know it makes me sound like a complete pompous asshole when I'm like, nothing is 100% ever. But at the same time, I say that more to make the point that, like, it's more about, like, you got to zoom out a little bit and figure out what it is. There is no ideal bait, What is that I've heard this said before? It's much, much easier to catch the fish with the wrong bait where the fish are than the perfect bait where the fish aren't.
Okay. I like that.
So as long as you can just locate them, once you do that, then you can figure out what you need to do to get bit.
That's right.
That's the name of the game. You ready to hear from Eli?
Of course. It's a weekly thing for us.
We got to hear from Eli, baby. So here we go. I forgot what this question is, so I'm interested in. I haven't even really been able to think about this because I've had the lunar phase all going running through my head for the last 48 hours.
Hey guys, got a question for Eli's hotline. Now I'm getting more into getting out on my kayak and trying to think of gear that I would like to add to it. What has been your favorite piece of gear that you've added to your kayak or your boat? It can be like directly fishing gear, or it can be something that's like indirect, like maybe like a rod stager, but what's your favorite piece of equipment that you have come across in the last couple of years that's been very helpful? Have a great day. See you guys.
That's a tough one.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
I'm gonna cheat a little bit with this one. I'm gonna give one accessory for the boat and then one accessory for my kayak.
Go for it,
because they're different. On my boat, oddly enough, it's Yak Attack equipment. They're the Sport Track adapters, which are just really simple, like screw lock style adapters, like a T-bolt that is designed to fit the Sport Track that goes around the Lund hull. And I'm able to utilize the same exact rod holders that I really like on my kayak on those, as well as utilizing them for my GoPro mount and utilizing them to my cup holder, stuff like that. So I think that's one of the cheat codes for like gear that I've put in there. Like I've put in like one of those rod holders up against the side of my console, so I have like 4 rods I can put right there, and that is really nice. Trust me, like I like that a lot. But those ones that go right around the outside of the hull, I kind of like that a lot, right around the Sport Track. But those adapters specifically are, like, I want to say I paid like less than half for what Lund is selling theirs for. Now, granted, Lunds are like customizable. They're like big plastic plates, which you screw in whatever accessory you want. It's kind of like the transom boards for your transducer. It's kind of like that. On my kayak, it's a little bit of a different beast because this thing helps with so many different things. But I'm going to say the Yak Attack Roto Clip is hands down one of the most, I guess, like high return on investments that I've made, because I use my Roto Clips to hold my net in place, to hold my paddle in place. and to also, like, last year when I was shooting content, I devised a camera mount so that I could put my GoPro right on my pedal drive because I have a roto mount right on top. That's where my net goes. The handle of my net keeps it out of place, so I'm not like kicking it while I'm pedaling or anything like that.
Right.
It stays right in there. And then when I would catch a fish, I would have that net going across my kayak, across the hull, and in a roto clip off to the side, holding the fish in the net in the water. And then I could take my camera and then put it right there and then have that first person. So when I take that fish out, I can hold it up and talk to it. That was the worst camera angle, though. It was total crotch cam. Like, oh my God. I look back at those videos and I'm like,
should I delete these?
Because I'm like, it's bad. It's bad. But I think, like, by and large, it is probably the best, like, return on investment that you can make for that. I think that those are pretty badass accessories.
That's awesome.
What about you, Joe?
People aren't going to like what I'm going to say. Probably live scope, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I love it, dude. I love it. Yeah, I just really like live scope. It's just, I could give 1,000 reasons, being able to kind of see the behavior of fish and whatnot, and how they react to certain lures, and kind of just getting a lot better with it. And yeah, I just think that's a really cool, valuable tool I've put on my boat in the last couple of years.
Well, that's good. For the price tag, that's good. I mean, I'd hate if it wasn't,
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, me too.
You know what I'm curious about? I wonder, like, so Binya is a good example. He has recently added live scope to his kayak, and I think he got, I forget what the name of it. It's that Lowrance entry level, like the free or what?
Oh yeah. Okay.
He's got that on there, and I'm curious if, like, what his experience is with it, necessarily, like.
Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting. I mean, I
haven't seen that new one, that like entry level one.
I've heard it's very much like, this is what you can see.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, you have a limited scope of what you can actually see. And it's not, it's not necessarily for everybody, but I would be curious. I'll have to ask him. He and I were talking about doing a trip together, but I think we should have him guest co-host a spot with us one of these days.
Oh, hell yeah.
We should. But man, that is nuts. I like the fact that we gave options, because I think you can get a roto clip for $20.
Oh, there you go.
I think you can. I think you can get I'm going to look it up right now while I'm thinking about it. But Yak Attack is a great company for, kayak accessories, but don't write them off as just a kayak company. I'm going to look that up. Roto clip. They call it the Roto Clip? No. Roto Grip, is it? I'll bet you it's the Roto Grip. Roto Grip. Boom. There we go. Yeah, you can get one for $15, the paddle holder. The park and pole. Yeah, $15. They are absolutely badass. Or, you can go get yourself live scope for significantly more, if you're looking to accessorize, but it's Tim Behan said it. Eagle Eye. I think that's the one from Lowrance. I think that's the name of it. But yeah, there you go, Eli. You got two options that you can look at, or three options that you can look at that we think are some of the best accessories that we've added in there. I still have to add electronics. I'm sure that's going to change my scope of things too. It's like, once I scan on, sure it is. I just have to get off my ass and just fucking actually install everything. But every time I'm like, oh yeah, the weather's nice, let's go. I'm like, let's go fish. I'm like, fuck.
Exactly. That's the part. That's been me with like, oh man, I really need to clean the boat real well. It's like time to like give it a good cleaning. I'm like, but it's nice out, so maybe I'll go hit the lake first. Yep. I get it. I have been I've been taking the wet dry vac to my boat and trying to clean up all the schmutz from like the overhead trees and stuff as much as I can. Man, boat ownership is a lot. It really is. Oh yeah.
And now that I've been taking Eleanor out with me, Tim, what do you think of the Eagle Eye? What do you think? And would you say that it's also one of the best accessories that you've put on your kayak? And now I know how he's been kicking my ass in the scavenger hunts right here, because he's just like,
we got a lock on him. Let's go.
You know, it's God, yeah, it's boat ownership is kind of crazy. Now I've been bringing Eleanor out. She goes out in the backyard and she's like, boat. She's looking at it.
Oh
she's
yeah,
like, yeah.
Drake goes the same way, dude. And the problem I have with Draco on my boat is his fur gets in the carpet, and then I gotta friggin'
you gotta extract that. Yeah. That's nuts. Frick, dude. Did I tell you about the I did move one of those Yak Attack Sport Track adapters all the way to the back end at the transom, actually.
Okay.
I moved it all the way down there because I had this issue with so when I bring Eleanor on the boat, I like to put my bimini top on so that if it's really just like the sun's just beating down on us, I can put that up, and that way she's got shade. You know, I can slide her bed into the middle and she's got shade. She's good to go. And I'm like, you know, and also like if I'm out with obviously like one of my kids or something like that, like I want them to be able to have a place to get out of the sun. Yep. Not everybody is thinking about going out and fishing like, you know, the freaking, you know, Grim Reaper, like I am. So I go and I do all this. The problem is where the bimini connects. It's right, of course, right about in the way of that pole mount. So I'm like, all right, well, that kind of sucks. I have this clip that I put on the windshield, and I to tell you the truth, I kind of hated the angle at first. I love the access to the camera though, because in loop mode, I just reach over, click, boom, hit the shutter, I'm good to go. Or what I've been doing is I've been taking and flipping that camera around. So if someone's fishing with me in the back of the boat, now I can easily get access of them with whatever catch they have in the boat. It kind of adds for another little bit of depth. I made this decision to move that mount all the way down to the back because I'm going to take that GoPro pole that I have and angle it up and outwards a little bit down. So it gives that really good angle. So I am in the market for another action camera, but I'm looking for the Chinesiest, cheapest 4K action cam that I can get. I'm never, ever going to record audio. It could have a dead squirrel for a microphone, and I don't care. Like it's never going to record audio. It'll be my GoPro that's going to be the one that generally is going to be the one that's going to capture all that. But it's something. So I'm hoping to kind of add that to like that next level. I am not taking anywhere near the amount of drone footage that I thought I have this year. I don't think I've flown my drone once, to tell you the truth. It's either been raining, windy, or I've been on a body of water that I can't fly the drone.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep.
One of those three. Yep. Bastards. All right. Well, I think that's about going to do it for this week's show. Do we have anything else that we're supposed to do? I think we got all the boxes checked, guys. I think we're in really good spot.
I think so, dude. I think we did pretty well this week.
We heard from Mark, Chris, Eli, and Brian. And keep those calls coming in on the hotline, guys. jigsandbigs.com. There is a button right there that you can go ahead and tap, and you can call us. Let us know your thoughts. If you have a question for the live well, if you want to submit an FTG, if you want to, just give a shout out or something or whatever. If you whatever you're feeling, go ahead and do it. If we can incorporate it on the show, we absolutely will, and that's what we're all about. Tim did get back. He says, I got it. He says, I just suck at it. I need tips. I wish I could help you. Maybe Binya can help you, Tim.
Yeah. I don't know anything about that one.
Yeah, that one I'm not so sure about. But maybe Binya can help out. He's been fooling around with it. Eventually, we'll throw some forward facing on the implication, but it's going to be quite a while. I'm not in a hurry. And I can't afford it. That's basically what it gets down to. That's really what it gets down to. You guys have been amazing. Remember, again, jigsandbigs.com for everything that you need, whether it's a discount on arc rods, if it's a sweet little deal on your Dark Horse tackle purchase, or any of our other partners that we're working with, go and check that stuff out. There's all kinds of information. All the registration for the tournaments is there. The hotline hot button is there. You can reach out and leave us a message. Plus, you also have instant connect to the show itself. So if you want to find it on Apple Podcasts or you want to find it on Spotify, go ahead and just go to jigsandbigs.com. There's links for all that stuff right there. And the YouTube as well. Remember, Jigs and Bigs channel, we're doing a giveaway. Prizes to be determined at 1,000 subscribers. Get on in there now. We'll make it happen. Joe, you got anything you want to say before we wrap it up?
I got nothing tonight, man. Appreciate you guys. Hit up the Jigs and Bigs Facebook community page. That's been great. A lot of good conversations going on in there. And then as always, check out our YouTubes, our socials, and that's about it.
I love it. I freaking love it. You guys have a good one. You guys are absolutely awesome. Go ahead and have yourself an amazing week. It should be beautiful. And this weekend, it's going to turn to hot shit. So it's about all we can deal with. Have a good one, everybody. And we will see you guys. Wait, hold on. We're not going to have another show until after Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, you sons of bitches. Happy Father's Day. Go grill a burger.
Tits and ass, smoke some grass.